हेलो एंड अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आज का हमारा टॉपिक जो है वो है डेटा साइजेस, क्वांटिटीज़ एंड मेजरमेंट्स। आपने कभी ना कभी कोई रैम के बारे में सुना होगा। 8 GB रैम आपने फ़ोन परचेज़ किया, उसने कहा 8 GB 128। इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि आपके पास 8 GB की रैम है और 128 GB की हार्ड डिस्क है। सो वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट सच क्वांटिटीज़। अभी तक हुआ ये है कि जब भी हम डिस्कस करते हैं द अमाउंट ऑफ रैम or the amount of hard disk, we mostly talk in terms of SI system. SI में हमारे पास जो मास का यूनिट है वो किलो है, और फिर किलो से हम लोग मेगा बनाते हैं, मेगा से हम गीगा बनाते हैं, उससे टेरा बनाते हैं। वो सारी की सारी क्वांटिटीज़ का इशू ये है कि वो बेस 10 में है। अनटिल 1998 ये सब कुछ सही था, लेकिन उसके बाद एक नया सिस्टम आया इंस्टेड ऑफ एस आई, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड IEC, इंटरनेशनल इलेक्ट्रो टेक्निकल कमीशन, और उसने बेस 2 के ऊपर प्रीफिक्सेस दिए। तो हम लोग पहले उस पर बात कर लेते हैं। तो हमारा जो सिस्टम है इस वक्त वो 10 की पावर 3 पे चल रहा है। जैसे 10 की पावर 3 इज़ किलो और 10 की पावर 6 इज़ मेगा, 10 की पावर 9। लेकिन इंस्टेड अब IEC कहती है कि हमें इसको 2 की पावर में लेना है। तो डेटा क्वांटिटीज़ को अगर हम IEC के टर्म्स में पढ़ें तो डेटा क्वांटिटीज़ को हम दो तरीके से देखते हैं। when the data is stored and when the data is on the move. The data is stored in RAM, maybe in hard disk, maybe in CD or whatever. When data is stored, we actually talk in terms of bytes. When the data is being transmitted, for example, upload, download, Wi-Fi, और आप अगर उसको ब्लूटूथ से सेंड कर रहे हैं, आप उसको एयर ड्रॉप कर रहे हैं, वट एवर, तो वो वहाँ पे ब्लूटूथ इस्तेमाल हो रही है। सो व्हेन डेटा इज़ ऑन द मूव, वी डू नॉट लुक इन टू डेटा मोस्टली इन बाइट्स, रादर वी लुक इन टू डेटा इन टर्म्स ऑफ बिट्स, दैट हाउ मेनी बिट्स आर बीइंग ट्रांसफर्ड पर यूनिट ऑफ टाइम, विच इज़ सेकेंड्स। सो तो डेटा क्वांटिटीज़ को जब हम स्टोरेज में देखेंगे तो हम उनको देखेंगे बाइट्स में और 2 की पावर में, बिकॉज वी आर टॉकिंग बाइनरी हेयर। तो आप देखें सबसे छोटा यूनिट हमारे पास है 1 बिट। 1 बिट, देन 4 बिट्स आर 1 निबल। So nibble is no more used, but it is part of the syllabus, so we are talking about it. And then we have got 8 bits, which is 1 byte. 8 bits is equal to 1 byte is basically a golden ratio in terms of binary quantities and prefixes. We will talk about it later. So after that, 2 की power 10. So 2 power 10 becomes 1024 bytes, which is 1 KiB byte, and the unit is KI. So remember, this is IEC prefixes. IEC instead of SI, we have got IEC, International Electrotechnical Commission. I'm not talking much about it because that is not part of the syllabus, but I wanted you to know that what we are commonly using is basically SI system, and now since last year for the new syllabus it is IEC system based on power of 2. So 2 की power 10 is 1024 bytes, which is called 1 KiB byte, and the unit is KI. Then 2 की power 20, that is 1024 KiB bytes, which is 1 MiB byte, unit is MI. Then 2 की power 30, that is 1024 MiB, 1024 MiB, that is 1 GB byte, unit is GI. Similarly, 2 power 40, that is 1024 GB bytes, is equal to 1 TB byte, unit is TI. 2 की power 50, that is 1024 TB bytes, is equal to 1 PB byte, unit is PI. Then 2 power 60, that is 1024 PB bytes, is equal to 1 XB byte, unit is EI. Particularly, you have to pay attention to the spelling. KiB is KIBI, MiB is MEBI, GB is GIBI, TB is TEBI, PB is PIBI, and XB is EXBI. Yet their prefixes, units are KI, MI, GI, TI, PI, and BI. Second thing that you have to pay attention to is when we get from smaller unit to bigger unit. For example, हम bits से KiB में आ रहे हैं, तो we will be dividing. bits by 8 to make it byte, by 1024 to make it kilo or KiB byte. And similarly, if you are getting from a higher unit, higher prefixes to the smaller one, let's say आप PB से MiB में आना चाहते हैं, तो 1 PB will be multiplied by 1024 to make it TB, and then the result will be multiplied by 1024 to make it GB, and then result will be multiplied by 1024 to make it MiB. Alright, so that is how the thing works. Whereas for transmission of the data, we look into the data quantities in terms of bits. So we have got 1 bits, then we don't have any nibble, we don't have any bytes, and then we have got 1024 bits, 2 to the power 10, and that is 1 KiB, and then we have got 1024 KiB bits, which is 1 MiB, and then 1024 MiB bits becomes 1 GB bits, and that is how it goes. So in bytes, we are not basically, in storage bytes, we are not basically paying much attention to bits until unless we have to find byte or nibble. Otherwise, in data transmission, we only talk bits, no matter if it is MiB bits, no matter it is TB bits, no matter it is GB bits. Alright, so what sort of questions do we expect? So kind of questions जो हमें चाहिए would be like, if a file is of 1 MB, then how much time will it take to transfer the file over a connection speed of 1 megabits? As I told you, this is the golden ratio. If it is a 1 byte, it has got 8 bits. Similarly, if it is 1 KiB byte, it will be 8 KiB bits. If it is 1 MiB bytes, then it is 1 MiB bits. 8 MiB bits, sorry. So the ratio of 1 to 8 will remain there. 1 KiB byte is equal to 8 KiB bits. 1 MiB byte is equal to 8 MiB bits. 1 GB byte is equal to 8 MiB GB bits. Alright. So if the file is of 1 MB and the speed is of 1 MB as well, it means it will take 8 seconds. How? These two are basically MiB. So we have to make bytes and convert them to bits, or we have to take bits and convert them to bytes. Both are options. So instead of converting bits to bytes, we try to convert bytes to bits by multiplying them 8. Remember, we are getting down bits to bytes, so we have to multiply it by 8. So that will become 8 MiB bits, and then 8 divided by 1 will become 8 seconds. Similarly, if it is 200 MiB bits file, MiB byte file, and 20 MB connection, so we will first convert, since these two are MiBs, so we don't have to worry about it. Only we have to convert bytes to bits or bits to bytes to divide them fully. So 200 multiplied by 8. Why multiply? Because we are actually going back from bytes to bits. So multiply by 8 becomes 1600. 1600 over 20 becomes 80 seconds. Instead, if you like to convert bits to bytes, in that case we will keep 200 same and we will divide MiB bits by 8. So that will give us 2.5 MiB bytes, and then we will divide 200 by 2.5 and we would have same 80 seconds. So it's up to you. Remember, calculator is not allowed in exam. The next question is 500 MiB bytes are being transferred over 250 MiB bits speed. So 500 MiB bytes is the size of the file. So in that case, 500 over 250 divided by 8. Why 250 divided by 8? Because we want to convert bits into bytes. Alright. So 500 MiB bytes file divided by 31.25 MiB bits, MiB bytes speed. In that case, it is 16 seconds. Similarly, instead of converting bits to bytes, we rather convert bytes to bits. In that case, MiB byte, 500 MiB bytes multiply by 8, that becomes 4000 MiB bits, and we divide it by 250, that is again equal to 16. Remember, it's up to you how would you deal with it, because we are not allowed to use calculators in exam. Another question Another question, 2 GB file and 100 MB bits connection. So now this is the difference at the level of giga or GB and MiB. So the speed is in MiB bits, and the file size is in gigabytes. So first you have to convert giga to mega. Once they are same, then we will convert bytes to bits. So 2 GB multiplied by 1024 becomes 2048 MB bytes. All right, and then 2048 multiplied by 8 becomes 16,384 MB bits. All right, and then we divide by 100 MB bits, and that will give us 163.84 seconds. Instead of converting bytes to bits, we can convert bits to bytes. For that reason, you would have to keep mega same and bytes same and convert bits to bytes by dividing number of bits by 8. So 100 mega bits per second divided by 8 become 125 MB bytes. So 2048 MB bytes divided by 125 it still gives you 163.84 seconds. So this may go on, and now this time it is 500 MB file divided by 750 KB bits per second. So 750 will be divided by 1024 to make it MB bits. That is 0.7324 MB bits, and then convert MB bytes to bits by multiplying 500 with 8, and the answer will be 4000 over 0.7324. That gives us 5461.33 seconds, and you can do other way around as well. Alright, so instead of converting KB bits to MB, you rather convert mega to kilo in file size. That would be an extended calculation, but it's there, yet the result remains same. What other sort of question may appear is if it is 1 GB file and 1 GB byte file, and we want to transfer it over a connection of 512 MB bits. So what will happen? So 512 MB bits is half GB itself. So you can try it yourself to find out what would be the answer. Now, other type of question would be how many bytes are there in 1 MB byte? So MB bytes, we need to convert them from MB to KB first, and then for that we need to multiply it with 1024. That becomes 1024 KB bytes. And then that 1024 KB bytes will still be multiplied by 1024 to convert them to bytes. So 1 MB has 1048576 bytes. Next question is how many MB bytes are there in 1 TB byte? So we know that TB is a higher prefix, bigger unit, and MB is a smaller one. So as I told you earlier that we have to actually multiply in order to go up. So what we would do is we will take 1 TB, multiply it with 1024 to make it GBs, or ultimately that will become 1024 GBs, and then we will multiply 1024 by 1024 to come up with MBs. That is basically 1048576, and then another question is how many nibbles are there in 12 MB bytes? So 12 into 1024. Why? Because we want to make MB to KB bytes. So that will be 12288 KB bytes, and then KB bytes multiply by 1024 to get bytes, and that is 125829192. As we have an idea that one nibble holds 4 bits and 1 byte has got 8 bits, so referring to that, it means that 1 byte can hold 2 nibbles. So whatever the number of bytes we have, we will multiply it with 2 to get the number of nibbles, that is 251658224. So that's it for this lecture. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.